nice.
Lovely day.
Lovely. Morning, Harry. Everything all right? Stunt your growth, Harry.
Jean.
Oh, Norman.
You're down for one then, I see.
Yes, that's right.
Growing drugs menace, is it?
Along those lines.
Flower of youth, wasted in the pipe dreams of the opium den, eh? Cracking it up on crack. Snorting serious damage up their mucous membranes.
Why is it, Norman, that you can invest the most serious social issue with an air of political opportunism and total triviality?
Well, don't forget, Jean, I've been here longer than you. You're bound to develop a certain amount of expertise. Anyway, while you're on your feet, I wonder if you could slip one in for me.
My impression, Norman, is you're perfectly capable of slipping in your own.
A question, that is. If you could just mention the defacement of property by these graffiti-happy aerosol can merchants.
Graffiti artists?
Yes. They painted a false letterbox on my front door. The postman broke his finger.
Good job it wasn't a keyhole. You might have hurt your eye. I'll see what I can do.
Thanks, there's a sweetie.
No, Norman. I'm an MP. That's a sweetie.
Oh, thank you.
It's a humbug. I'm sure you'll like it.
When I was trying to give it up, Harry, I got this nicotine chewing gum from the doctor.
Yes, sir. Any good?
Well, it's quite nice with brandy after a meal. Perfectly useless otherwise. Might be worth a try. Well, I just thought I'd mention it. Yes.
Good speech, Jean. Good speech.
Oh, thank you, Godfrey.
You held me absolutely spellbound, riveted as a steel plate. And I quite agree entirely with what you say about the appalling dog's mess.
Growing drugs menace, Godfrey.
Quite, yes. You had the entire chamber with you. Every man jack there was right behind you.
There were only 6 MPs in the place, Godfrey, and 3 of them were snoring.
Well, that's not a bad turnout for a Friday. Especially to hear a woman speaking.
Where is everyone? I would have thought a drugs debate would have packed the place out.
Well, actually, there's a wine tasting down the corridor, and if you'll excuse me, I thought I'd lay down a few bottles for my grandchildren.
You carry on, Godfrey. What's the plight of a few drug addicts, after all?
Quite. 10% off if you buy a case now.
Oh, is anyone in here sober?
No, the press haven't been snooping about, have they?
Hello, Ken.
Hello, Jean. Well, did you have your rant, then?
Yes, thanks. Did you get your discount?
I was in committee. So, how did it go? The usual complete waste of time?
Yes.
Good. Great. Delighted to hear it.
I think the people who vandalise the nation's health are the ones who should contribute towards the repairs, like the tobacco companies.
Well, why don't you ask them, then?
Who do you suggest I approach? I don't really know anyone down on the old plantation.
Well, Jean, I suggest that you have a look on the members' register of interests.
Under what?
Does the name Massa Godfrey mean anything to you?
Oh, Jean, nice to see you. To what do we owe the honour?
Oh, is that the royal we, Godfrey?
No, but one lives in hopes. Can I offer you a small quencher? Or perhaps a cigarette?
Oh, no, thank you.
Well, would you like a cigar? I know some ladies do when they're at their clubs.
Maybe, but I don't belong to them.
Well, what about a twist of ready rubbed and a nice relaxing pipe?
Do you know, I don't think I've touched a pipe, Godfrey, since I got demobbed from the Navy and shaved my beard off.
Well, would you like to roll your own?
No, thank you, but don't let me stop you if you want to light something up.
Oh, good heavens, no, I don't smoke. Filthy habit. All that coughing in the morning and hawking into the sink. Absolutely disgusting.
Then why do you act as parliamentary advisor to the tobacco industry?
Well, as the proverbial salesman said, Jean, just because I got a suitcase full of ladies' knickers doesn't mean to say I wear them.
Yes, but ladies' knickers don't endanger your health, do they?
Depends who's in them. But everybody's entitled to put their case. Even smokers are entitled to put their case. And think how overstretched and underfunded the National Health Service would be without tobacco.
Yes, well, I'm sure as a method of population control it has its merits, Godfrey, but in my opinion, condoms would be more humane.
Maybe so, Jean, but not such a good smoke. Now, what is it you wanted from me?
Well, I came to ask a favour.
Oh, you certainly know the right way to go about it.
You see, as I said in my speech...
Oh, which speech?
the one you praised so highly.
Oh, yes. Oh, I did enjoy that.
Yes, well, I'm a director of a local drugs project, and I thought in view of the amount of money the tobacco industry makes out of addiction, it might like to contribute towards clearing up the mess.
Oh, I fear I rather hear the sound of lead balloons plopping into oceans on that one. I don't see how I can sell that to my clients.
Godfrey, there are children of 13 in my constituency using heroin, marijuana, crack.
Who'd be better off with a drink and a cigarette. Absolutely. I get your drift. How much would you like? 5,000?
5? Oh, well, yes.
All right, say 10. No, I'll tell you what. Let's make it around 11 and a quarter.
What's round about that?
Well, it includes my commission.
Well, just as long as you're not making anything out of it.
Well, expenses have to be defrayed. One needs a nose like a snorkel to keep one's head above water these days. Yes. Well, I'll let you know as soon as I know myself.
Oh, well, thank you, Godfrey. Bye.
Bye, Jean. Shame, really. Old Winston and everything.
It's tainted money, though, really, Jean.
Hardly that. Salve your conscience money, maybe.
Since when did the tobacco industry have a conscience?
No sugar.
If crack was legalised tomorrow, the tobacco companies would have it in packets of 20 by the end of the week.
Maybe. But if I can stop 12-year-olds from buying it today, I'm entitled to accept help from wherever I can get it.
Oh, Jean.
Are you feeling all right? You're reading a book.
Yes, I'm aspiring to be an intellectual.
Well, my mother didn't start playing the piano till she was in her 60s.
Oh. I've got just the man for you.
I've already got one.
Ah, this one's dead. What you want to do on this drugs business is a William Stead.
And which particular branch of obscurity is he famous for?
William Thomas Stead was the man who was responsible for raising the age of consent to 16.
I see, so he's not universally admired.
Child prostitution was so rife at the time, and Parliament was doing so little about it.
Apart from invest in it, of course.
Yeah, he procured a child at knockdown prices to show how easily it could be done, and that was instrumental in getting the law changed. One small paragraph of action, you see, speaks louder than a volume of words.
So I hear.
So, do you see what I'm driving at?
Yes, Ken. Do you know, I think I just might. And we'll need some money. How much have you got on you?
I don't know. 20 quid, how much do you need?
I don't know. I don't go and buy cocaine every night of the week, do I?
Neither do I. I normally stroll down to the off-licence and get a bottle of claret.
Well, we need 100, I imagine, maybe 2.
£200? Oh, come on, Jean. I think you should reconsider this.
I've got to buy a decent amount. If I'm going into the chamber to hold up a bag of cocaine and say, here you are, this is what your children are buying on the streets, they've got to be able to see it.
OK, Jean, now just wait a minute. Just look.
What?
Well, look. My trousers, they come from Marks and Spencer's. You go shopping at Jaeger's.
No, I don't, except when there's a sale on.
We belong to the Book of the Month Club. We have a lifetime subscription to the National Trust. Jean, we're middle-aged.
So?
So, when any self-respecting drug dealer sees us coming down the road, he'll smell so many rats, he'll think the plague is making a comeback.
Yes, you're right. You do look a bit out of date. Have you still got those bell-bottoms?
Bell-bottoms?
Well, they're back in, aren't they?
Not mine, they aren't. They're clapped out.
Well, just put them on and see. I'm sure you don't have to be young to be a drug addict.
No, but most of them are, due to the intervention of a little thing called death. Idiot in this.
How do you think I feel? I'm with you.
I must have weight. All these loons are castrating me.
I can't believe I used to wear this. I feel like a sheepdog in it.
You smell like one. I just hope that coat isn't in season, that's all, or we never get home. Here, 200 quid. It'll be enough, will it? Or would you like me to sign over my pension schemes?
There's a joint account, Jeff.
Doesn't mean it's for buying joint with.
I'll get as much as I can.
What would you ask for a receipt? You might be taxed.
I'd like to buy some stuff. Score some, eh?
Mate, I don't know what you're talking about. You got the wrong man. '60s, eh?
Look, sex isn't the only thing your generation didn't discover.
Flower power with you, is it?
Keep the change.
Peace, man. Call again. We never close.
There.
So that's the demon white powder, is it? It doesn't look much.
I don't suppose Semtex looks much.
What you taking?
Don't know about you, Jeff. I could do with a drink.
Right.
Jean Price.
Oh, Gordon Bennett.
Well, what was all that about? Waving bags of drugs about? Causing cheap sensations? What's the game?
The game, Norman, is putting them to shame. It's known as getting something done.
Well, I don't know that it redounds to our credit, all these green bench theatricals. All this one-up womanship. We're all well aware of the problem without this sort of pantomime.
It does no harm to dot the I's and cross the T's.
You can dot your T's and cross your legs for all the difference it'll make.
Norman, when I held up those drugs, I had one eye on the press gallery.
Oh, only one eye? Well, there's admirable self-restraint, isn't it?
It'll be on every screen by this evening and on every front page by tomorrow.
Well, if it's just cheap publicity you're after, you didn't happen to mention my name, did you?
If publicity equals action, it's exactly what I'm after.
But does it, though, Jean? Usually publicity is a substitute for action.
Well, let's see how the pudding proves itself before we denounce the recipe, shall we?
I applaud your intentions. It's your tactics I deplore. We have to have a bit of order in the House, a bit of decorum on the benches. What are you going to do in the debate on animal livestock? Bring a mad cow into the chamber?
Oh, believe me, there are plenty there already, Norman, and they're getting madder all the time. Though I do concede that they're grossly outnumbered by the big load of old bullocks.
You see the bloke next to me scratching himself? Oh, whatever he's got, it can't jump far.
What should I do about this stuff? I can't carry it around with me. Where would be a safe place to keep it?
Your arm up your nose.
Mr. Price.
Yeah.
Mrs. Jean Price.
What? Has there been an accident?
It's all right, Jean.
I've a warrant here for your arrest. They seem to get younger every year, don't you think, Jean?
Who, Godfrey?
Arresting officers. A policeman thinks his lot is not a happy one, and then he gets to arrest an MP and the sun peeks through the clouds.
I'm trying to read, Godfrey.
What does it feel like to join the criminal classes?
You should know, you've been in them for years. The white-collar branch.
The thing is, Jean, I was wondering, who do you think we can get?
Who do I think we can get to do what?
To pair with me while you're in prison.
You're all heart, you know. You're a real transplant.
You know, I might have to find a new pair completely.
Yes, it's just possible the way you're going on. Miss Claire, do you think it's so funny? I think it's criminal.
Well, it was a first offence, wasn't it? I don't suppose you'll get more than a couple of months.
There's no need to be unsympathetic. I wasn't when you fell down St. Stephen's steps.
I didn't fall, I was pushed.
You didn't fall, you were pissed.
I was barely in my cups at all, hardly in the saucer.
I found him. Here he is, William Stead.
Who?
Who tried to stop child prostitution.
Oh, what happened?
He bought a child to prove to the Commons that the abuse existed. The authorities were so angered at his exposure of their incompetence, they arrested him for abduction and imprisoned him for 3 months. But that's appalling.
Oh, I don't know. Seems perfectly reasonable to me.
You didn't tell me he ended up in prison, did you?
Oh, I only just got to that bit myself. Anyway, I only got a few months.
A few months? Oh, he only got a few months. Oh, yes, well, that's all right then, isn't it? I mean, he only got a few months. A few months. I mean, what's a few months after all?
Meant to say, Harry, a pal of mine got acupuncture when he was giving it up. They put this needle in your ear and sort of twiddle it whenever you get the urge.
Yes, sir. Any good?
No, his head went septic, unfortunately. Might be worth a try.
I'll bear it in mind, sir.
Yes. Of course, I just have the one at Christmas myself now. How long is it till Christmas?
Oh, it looks bad. Caught red-handed. Charges pressed, cases pending.
What I want to know, Norman, is who blew the whistle on me?
Jean, cheeks were puffed out as far as the eye could see. No, I'm no Puritan.
No, as a whip, you'd be in the Inquisition.
But drug users in the Labour Party doesn't look good. I mean, what are the public gonna think, eh? Honourable members going around with straws stuck up their noses, using their arms as dartboards.
I'm always impressed, Norman, by your total concern with the appearance of things and your abject disregard for their content.
Anyway, leaving that aside, we must have a word about what we're going to do in the event of you serving a short stretch in wherever you serve it. I mean, somewhere nice with a bit of greenery, I hope.
I am not going to be serving a stretch of any length.
Well, no, of course not. It won't happen. But if it does, we'll all be very sorry to see you go. But you will be standing down, though, in the event.
I most certainly will not. Not in any event.
Well, you can hardly function as an MP in a cell, can you? I mean, who's going to look after your constituents while you're in prison?
I guarantee if I am sent to prison, I will have the people of this country right behind me.
Oh, yes, they'll be right behind you up to the gates, but they won't be going in, will they? Anyway, Jean, you think it over and let me know your plans. As lots of your loyal colleagues have been very supportive in their expressions of solidarity.
Oh, well, thank them for that, Norman.
And several of them have friends and relatives who wouldn't mind putting themselves up as possible candidates for your seat.
Ah, Jean. Good of you to call. Still at large, I see, then?
What was it you wanted, Godfrey? Are you feeling poorly?
Sorry? Oh, no, I do a little lobbying for the pharmaceutical industry. Can I offer you anything for those small ailments? Pre-question time tension, or perhaps you find difficulty in sleeping during debates?
No, not at all. I'm like a top.
Good. Well, it was your drug project rather than mine.
Oh, yes. How did you get on?
Well, I spoke to the tobacco lobby, and while they were sympathetic, they didn't think that a drug rehabilitation centre was quite the project for them.
No, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, it's worth a try.
However, despite them not biting on that particular bait, I have had a nibble elsewhere.
Oh, good.
I have a company who feel that a community-based project would be just the thing for them. They feel that involvement would be, well...
Good for business.
Well, they wouldn't want to be associated with it. It was bad for business, would they?
Well, what kind of business are we talking about?
Now, it's a hamburger chain.
Hamburgers?
Yes, a sort of meat patty of compressed gristle, served in an anemic bun.
Yes, I know what it is, Godfrey. I'm just surprised you do.
Well, it's very much a part of the youth culture, and you're bound to be excited when I tell you the name.
Well, go on.
Well, hold on to your seat when I say the magic, mouth-watering words. Big John's.
I'm still holding.
Do you mean to say we haven't heard of Big John's?
Not in the context of hamburgers, no.
Absolutely delicious. You should try a quarter of a pounder with a thick shake.
It's a good substitute for Artex, is it? You don't actually mean that you eat them?
Well, no, but I've been told how good they are. They don't want you to change the name or anything to Big John's Drug Project. No, they were rather thinking of something like the Urban Drug Project in association with Big John's.
I see.
Well, I'm sorry, those are the strings that come attached. I'm sorry that I can't make a better offer.
No, it's good of you to go to all this trouble. Ah, but you get paid.
Don't you bother your pretty little head about me.
And don't you bother your big bulging muscles about me.
So we have a yes to Big John's?
Well, it wouldn't have been my first choice, but money's money. Yes. Oh, thank you.
Good. There is one small stumbling block. They have slight reservations about some of the directors of the project.
Oh, but I'm one of the directors, Godfrey.
Yes. And in view of recent events, they just wondered whether you were the right person for the job.
Of course, personal explanations are not courtesies we afford every court in possession. However, in your position, an MP, and a public figure of some standing.
I don't expect any special treatment, Inspector.
Sergeant, for public martyrdom in the tabloids is generally regarded as special treatment by my colleagues and myself. And what with all the attendant publicity...
Unfavourable to the police.
I would have thought that MPs had higher priorities than to try and embarrass the police with publicity-seeking antics of this nature.
As I wasn't seeking publicity for myself, but to highlight a very serious issue, I rather disagree.
Well, perhaps we were over-diligent, but we did receive a phone call and so our officers had to respond to it.
From whom did you receive this call?
I can't say that, Mrs. Price, but I can tell you one thing. From the moment you held up that bag of cocaine, our telephone didn't stop ringing. You weren't shopped, you were supermarketed.
Well, it's nice to know you got friends.
What, in this place? Well, we shan't be pressing charges in this instance. We don't feel anything useful will be achieved. So if you could let us know the details of the problem in your constituency, we'll see what we can do about it.
Well, I'll send you the file.
Thank you. Well, that's me. One thing. We're glad no one made use of your purchases.
They were purely for illustration.
Impurely, maybe.
What do you mean?
It was 90% baking soda. A cake might have got high on it, though I doubt anything else would have. Whoever you got it from, Mrs. Price, they saw you coming.
Well, they might have seen me coming, but it was still money well spent.
They've got the dealers off the streets now, haven't they?
Well, right now, if you bought a wine gum, you'll probably find a dog's nose stuck in the packet. I'm not sure about this, though. Have a nice life, have a big job.
Makes the Sunday sports some new good taste.
So £5,000 is £5,000.
Yes.
Mind you, Mark, it wouldn't surprise me if once the check's cleared, some of the graffiti artists around here didn't obliterate that.
I don't think they do that, Jean, not for the drugs project.
I think they might, if you asked them and offered them a couple of tenors.
Wouldn't that be a bit ungrateful?
Probably. But it's money well spent.
I'll go and have a word.